First time, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is clearly stating the goal of Ukraine's military operation into Russia's Kursk region. He says that it is to create a buffer zone to fend off any future attacks by Russia across the border. Almost 2 weeks into the offensive, Ukraine says that it has captured nearly 400 square miles in Russia's Kursk region. Our Ian Lee is following the latest from the Ukrainian side of the border.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. This is as close as Ukrainian troops will let us get to the border. We're in a village about 5 miles from Russia, and as you can see, the fighting has left no home here untouched. 3 people were injured in an attack on this house. We spoke with some of their relatives who said Russian artillery is no longer a problem, but they're now being hit by missiles and drones. Nonetheless, they're happy that Ukrainian troops are pushing deeper into Russia and that Russians are finally getting a taste of what the realities of war are here. Now, last night, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy laid out the objectives of the incursion, saying it's to destroy Moscow's fighting capabilities and to create a buffer zone on Russian territory. Over the weekend, Kyiv destroyed 2 key Russian bridges. That'll make it harder for the Kremlin to move in reinforcements to stop Ukraine advancing. But there is frustration in Kyiv. Ukrainian officials believe they could make even further gains, and they have the weapons. The only problem is the most effective ones are supplied by the West, including the United States, which forbids them from being used on Russian territory. Anne-Marie?
All right, Ian, thank you. Earlier, I spoke to Associate Director for RAND Arroyo Center and Senior Historian for the RAND Corporation, Gian Gentile, about the developments. And I asked him about the specific area captured in the Kursk region and how this will be an effective buffer zone.
One reason, I think, was because it was more lightly defended than the other parts of Ukraine that Russia now occupies after the February 2022 invasion. And the reason why it's a buffer zone is in that map that you have there with the blue area, right close to the border with the orange area. The Russians had artillery there, and they could strike into the Sumy region in Ukraine and hit military targets and, like the Russians do often, hit civilian targets as well. So I think that's what the buffer zone creates, Anne-Marie, is that protection from Russian artillery. But again, it does what they're doing is that, and it's a lot more.
And really, really quickly before I let you go, you know, Volodymyr Zelenskyy is continuing to ask for permission to strike deeper into Russia.
Right.
I understand why tactically he thinks it's a good idea, but I also understand why there has been a lot of resistance. What's your feeling on that?
My personal view is there is a strong military argument why the United States and other Western countries should allow the Ukrainians to use weapon systems such as the ATACMS missiles to strike military targets inside of Russia. So it's an important authority, I think, for the U.S. and West to give Ukraine.